Hi, I'm Michael Copeland, and I'm one of the deacons here at Autumn Creek, and I'm also on staff as the music director. Well, my story began a long time ago because I grew up in church. My mom and dad actually met and were married in South Main Baptist Church, close to downtown Houston, and that was our first church after I was born, a year after they got married. And then we moved to southwest part of Houston, but still kept going to South Main Baptist. And they were very involved in their church at the time. And so I grew up going to church. Didn't know a lot about church at the time, obviously, as a young child. We changed churches when my younger brother was born, and we were going to Westray Baptist Church, kind of a lot closer to the southwest part of Houston. And I was involved in some youth activities, youth choir and things like that, but I'd pay attention to the messages and to the stories being told, but nothing was really sticking. Every summer I would spend time with my grandparents in Buffalo, Texas. Every single summer. They had a agrarian lifestyle, so out of the big city of Houston, I got the chance to work with horses and cattle and hay. I found out how badly I have allergies to hay at the time, working with hay. But I just got a taste of a different lifestyle. But one of the things that I've always tell people about my grandmother is she had us in church. We were there Sunday morning, we were there Sunday night, we were there Wednesday night. One summer, they were having a revival at their little church in Buffalo, Texas. And it was all week long. So starting Sunday night throughout the whole rest of the week. I was probably about 13 or 14 at the time. And the message really finally spoke to me. And when that invitation came at the end of that one night, I gave my life to Christ and asked Him in my heart. And that's where my journey really began. Going back, not a whole lot of things changed. Being part of a church that I didn't necessarily accept Christ in, that part didn't really change. I didn't follow through with believers' baptism at the time. And things kind of started going back to the way they were. But in my heart, I knew that I was saved. There was no doubt whatsoever in my mind. Fast forward to the mid-'80s when Sherry and I met each other at A&M. We were both in other relationships, but one of the things that attracted us to each other, I think, from the very beginning is realizing that we have a church history in common. We both were brought up in Baptist churches, and we both still believe that the Christian faith is near and dear to our heart and the center part of our lives. So we eventually became more than friends, started dating, and really decided to get married before we even graduated college and started our life then. So that's why this December, we'll be celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary, because we've been married so long since we were in college. But it's been a great journey, and I wouldn't be here today, I wouldn't be the man that I am today if it wasn't for her. She was so powerful in my life. My story is about people that are in my life that have led me to where I am today. So with my parents growing up in church, having me in church, my grandmother taking me to that revival, making sure that I'm in church in Buffalo every time, and talking to me about church, and her example that she gave me, that the way she treated other people and cared for other people, and then my wife, and then her family, strong Christian brothers and sisters. And then so fast forward to when we're living in Arlington, Texas. Some friends of hers asked me to play softball on a church softball team. We weren't involved in the church at the time. And so I went out, and they knew I played softball, so we were playing softball, and then they said, hey, why don't you come to church? And we started going to Fielder Road Baptist Church in the center of Arlington. And after 1 year, Sherry and I had the best attendance of our whole Sunday school class, because we were there all the time. And we got involved in leadership immediately. I joined the choir just a couple of months after joining that church, and that's where I was baptized. I decided that I've got to go forward. So at 30 years old, in which I like to tell people the same age Jesus was apparently when he was baptized, I finally went forward and finished that journey that started back when I was 13 or 14 years old, and did that public profession of faith. And then since then, our journey has been all church. We've been serving God in various capacities in Arlington. And then when we moved out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, I was involved in the music ministry out there, heavily involved in our Sunday school class out there and the leadership of the church, shared with kids, just being a teacher, a preschool teacher, and keeping children. And then when we moved back to Texas in Plano, the church we joined there, same thing. Joined the choir from the day one, and got involved in the church activities. And that's kind of what led us to Autumn Creek, because the music is what I thought God was leading me towards all along, with being in the choir and being in smaller praise teams and picking the guitar back up after so many years. Well, one day we were down here visiting my parents when we still lived up in Plano, and we met Stuart, who was a childhood friend we grew up with. We went to the same church when I was growing up, and we met him for coffee at Starbucks. And just chatting with him and talking about the idea of me possibly moving back down here to move closer to my parents. And then saying we'll need to try to find a church. I'm getting more involved in music. I need to find someone that needs a guitar player that can sit back and play the guitar. And he said, well, it's funny you should say that, because we've got a guitar player at our church that is about to leave. So we're just about to have a gap in our praise team, and they're going to be looking for a guitar player. Fast forward to when we moved down here, and we visited a couple times and got me hooked up with the praise team. And so before too much longer, I'm on stage, I'm that guitar player. And then 2021, when some of the folks decided to leave and go to another church, and we were kind of left with who's going to be the praise team, then Billy and Danny came to me and asked if I would take over the leadership of the group and prepare every Sunday's set list and work with the other musicians and have us ready so that there was continuity. We didn't miss a beat. When the other praise team left, this praise team that you see right now today stepped right in, and we just kept on going. We've been praising God, and I think we've been growing ever since. And it's a pride moment, but it's not a bad kind of pride. It's knowing that God is in this. He led us to this place, and when we stumble, if we step out of His will a little bit, He'll push us back in and He'll correct us. So that's how I'm here on staff at Autumn Creek. What I like the most about Autumn Creek is the personal touch. We were greeted as visitors from day one in a small church. It was busy that day. There were quite a bit of people there, but so many people came up to us, gave us hugs, which was unfathomable in a big church. Big churches, you just don't hug people that you don't know, right? And usually the pastor just says, shake one or two hands around you so they can continue the service. Well, this place takes 15, 20 minutes. You walk around and you hug everybody on the planet. So we left that day saying, man, this is an amazing place. People genuinely love each other here, and it shows. And we wanted that from our perspective, but we also wanted to serve in that place. And that's the most important part. We don't want to be just attenders where we're receiving that kindness and that love from what other people are doing. We've got stuff to give to other people. We can teach. We're older, so we can be mentors to the younger class, to the younger generation of kids, to younger parents. Since we have grown kids, we have that experience, and we want to offer that. And so that's what Sherry and I feel so comfortable here serving in that capacity at this small church.